Guess it not stay on. Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Call meeting to order of Thursday, February 20th, special meeting. Thursday, February 27th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Roll call please.
Councilmember Crawford. Here. Councilmember Polina.
Here.
Councilmember Hornish.
Here.
Vice Mayor Nunn.
Here.
Mayor Amoruso.
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
And that will be staffed at the presentations. Mr. Lester.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Number 2 on the agenda, approval of city council special meeting agenda for February 27th, 2025. Public comment? Opposed public comment? Any comments from the council?
There's no written public comment.
Do we need
No.
a motion to approve these?
Yeah. That's what it is.
I motion to approve the city council special meeting agenda for February 27th.
I'll second that.
Councilmember Crawford. Aye. Councilmember Polina.
Aye.
Councilmember Hornish.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nunn.
Aye.
Mayor Amoruso.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Okay, number 3 is going to be special meeting public comment. Anyone that would like to get up and speak public comment right now?
It's gonna be for the items.
Yeah, items, yeah. So,
I would just go to the items and
Just go to the items.
Public comment for the actual items.
okay. Just making sure. Presentation proclamations. Appoint members to serve on Amber County Transportation Commission, ACTC, and the Iowa Dam and Miwok Indians Ad hoc Committee. That report.
So last meeting, we did appointments to regional boards and committees and the sheriff's ad hoc committee. Tonight, we're redoing the ACTC as Councilmember Holger cannot make the meetings because we have the time of the meetings incorrect. And so we'll need to remake that appointment and we are ready to make the appointment to the Iowa Band of Miwok Indians Ad hoc Committee. And with that, I'll turn it over to the council.
And I would just like to add, when is the meeting for, so we do have one member still appointed to the ACPC, correct?
Yeah, we had one that was backup.
They only appoint one?
No, I thought we had a backup for someone that was. That was me.
Vice Mayor is the alternate.
Okay, so we're looking for the primary for ACPC. And then in terms of the tribal ad hoc, we're looking for 2 members. And unlike the ACTC that has a set regular meeting, there's no meeting scheduled for ACTC or for the tribal ad hoc. It's really just on an ad hoc basis, as needed basis. And it's like scheduling any other meeting, you just have to work out logistics to get everyone scheduled together. So that's kind of how that works, because I know that was a question last time with the other meetings, with the other groups when the meetings occurred. So this one is, it's just like any other business meeting, you have to kind of schedule it as all parties are available. And then I'll just say that in terms of that committee, ad hoc committee, there are discussions that have been ongoing with the prior ad hoc. Those are substantially underway, but it's important to note that there will require some additional time, preparation, research, analysis, that kind of thing. It's not just the kind of meeting you just show up for and you deal with the agenda when you get there. So I just want to kind of put that out there in terms of time and commitment.
I'd like to say one thing, as far as the ACTC. I actually agreed to be the second backup holder on that because I believe that they were at night and then apparently Holder can't do it. We found that they're meeting during the day. I've already committed to take time off if I need for the sheriff's one. If they're gonna be during the day, I'm not gonna be able to do all that. I mean, I can take off some time, but I can't. So I would like I'd like to say, because I noticed it's in the agenda here that, you know, I am serving that, but I was under the same impression as Holger. So we need actually a first and a second to serve for ACTC. I just can't commit to a bunch of different things right now serve today, but I'm getting it.
So we will need a new primary and alternate for the ACTC.
I'm sorry, what time does the ACTC meet?
Victoria, do you remember? I do not.
They had written back and said that there are some meetings in the morning time, like 9 AM, but they also oftentimes meet around noon or 1 PM.
And how often?
Monthly,
One meeting a month?
that is my understanding.
Well, there's no order in which we have to discuss these, correct?
No, I
Okay.
recommend doing one first though and then the other.
So I'm just gonna put it out there that I would like to be appointed to the Ione Band of Miwok Indians Ad Hoc Committee. And with that and the additional ACRA that I'm now a board of directors on, apparently, is how that appointment looks. I think that that fills my plate and if I get the appointment to the tribal ad hoc committee. So I don't see myself being an option for the ACTC.
So looking back at the emails from the ACTC, Felicia Bridges, she said, the ACTC meetings are always held on the first Thursday of each month at 9 AM. There's also an RTMF, which is more flexible, but still generally held at 10 AM or 1 PM. And by the way, it's a 6-year term.
Ooh.
Just so you know.
Rescues, Gil and Beyond. I'll serve on that.
Yeah, I mean, I have enough flexibility to serve on the ACTC
And I can
meeting.
back up on
And so it's first Thursday of the month, 9 AM. Cause I can, and where do they meet at at their office over there in Sutter Hill?
Instead of Creek.
Sutter Creek, okay. Yeah, I can do that. And while I have the mic on, I'd also like to throw my hat in for the ad hoc for the Miwok Indians, the Ione Band, that committee.
I'd be a backup if Rusty wanted to be the primary on that. And I also would like to throw my hat in on the. Just because I've got a lot of time invested in this over the years. Back knowledge and all that, so it could be a really key person in that negotiation. So,
Two.
the,
We can only have,
only two, yeah.
we can only have 2 right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 for that, and then 1 backup.
So then
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, there,
Well, I was gonna say, it sounds like I don't know how everybody else feels, if we do the ACTC. Now, if you're willing to serve on backup, and Rusty's willing to do that, if you call for a motion.
well, I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna ask for public comment, then we come back and do, and just vote on both.
On both,
Yeah.
right.
I mean, individually, obviously. So, do you have anything else to say? No, okay. Now I'd like to open it to public comment.
On both items.
Yeah, on both items, sorry for clarification. Anything from the internet? Interwebs?
There's no written public comment.
Thank you. Okay, so at this point, I'll close public comment and come back to council. So, looks like, let's vote on ATC to start with.
ACTC.
Right, you don't have you don't have to make a motion, you just need to do it by consensus and since.
I want a motion on it just because. I want a motion, I know, but just to give 2 items. Which one we're voting on.
Okay, so I'm looking for a motion.
I make a motion that we appoint Rusty Polina to serve on, as our representative at ACTC with Mayor Amaruso as the backup.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Crawford,
I,
Councilmember Selena,
Aye.
Councilmember Hornish,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nunn.
Aye.
Mayor Amaruso.
Aye.
Thank you, motion passes.
Okay, so with that one being out of the way, we're gonna move to the next one. Now we're gonna have some conversations.
What would be the appropriate way to handle this? State our case?
I don't know, Frank,
Yeah, so like any other item, make your case, we've already gone out to public comment for both of the appointments. So it's really council discussion and then anyone can make a motion at any time. And if that gets 3 votes, those are candidates. If it doesn't, someone will have to make a new motion. So that's the way it'll proceed.
So, in regards to, for myself, being appointed to the ad hoc committee for the tribe, I have a very well-versed knowledge in what has happened in the past, as well as what's happening in the present. And, I think that I would do an excellent job at making sure that the city gets what they should be getting when it comes to tribal matters. And I have actually something prepared that I wrote because I knew that this subject would be difficult for me to discuss because of the perception in the community. So I'm just going to read this, if that's okay with
Yeah.
everybody.
that's fine.
Okay, so near the end of January, I received some phone calls from friends and a text message from a friend regarding the Facebook post that made reference to me by past councilmember McLaughlin regarding the Ion Band project. So I wanna address the elephant in the room. I wanna be crystal clear that while yes, I am the daughter-in-law of somebody who has been outspoken about there not being a casino in Plymouth, I'm also my own person, and I'm much more than just a person's daughter-in-law. There is no secret, I think most everybody that's ever served on a council, present members, past members included, have made the statement that they don't want a casino in Plymouth. I don't think that is, Keith White said that the night he came for appointment, but before us, and he worked on the ad hoc committee. So I don't think that is something that anybody disputes. But we are where we are today, and the past is the past. I don't feel that anything positive comes out of dwelling from the past, blaming, fighting, or being a keyboard warrior. I don't think that gains us anything going forward. So I would like to have the opportunity to serve on this committee because I love where I live, and I believe that the citizens of this town voted me in because they know that. And I want to serve my community and serve the city of Plymouth in the absolute best way possible. And I think that this is a major issue that faces our community. My only goal as a sitting council member has been to do and will be to do what is best for our city and citizens that elected me. I have no agenda. So just so that's super clear for everybody, those watching, anybody here. And in addition, I just would want to hold anybody, developer, anyone, accountable and make sure that we get what we should get for our city. That's it. That's all, where it ends for me. I don't have any hatred towards anybody. I don't wish anybody any ill will. And just because I'm related to somebody through marriage I feel shouldn't disqualify me for a position, and people shouldn't put assumptions on what I would or wouldn't do based on that. Because I know that there's many people who wouldn't want that put on them. So I'm just asking for an opportunity to do something good for our community and be part of this ad hoc committee. So I'm gonna leave it at that and let my council members decide.
What's anything?
Yeah, I'm relatively new here as far as the city government goes. So my interest for to be on the ad hoc committee is that my thought was maybe bringing something new, maybe ideas from outside the box, coming from the outside, because I haven't been involved for all these years. And I've been involved in a lot of other US Forest Service stuff and this and that. But as far as the local, Island Band of the Miwoks, I haven't been really involved at all. And so I think I might be able to bring some unbiased views towards everything. That was my thought. Basically what I had to say.
Yeah, I'll kind of go back to, I've got historical knowledge, I've got, a long run at city management and, involvement with the community. Again, only want what's best for the community, the community at large. At the end of the day, that's, like when he said, no agendas, just what's best for our city, what's best, and what will work best for, to get us where we need to be as whole as we can be in the situation. So that's really where I said, is I bring a lot of historical knowledge that will help hopefully in the negotiation process. So that's where I said. So I guess at this point, we're looking for a nomination.
So are we like doing one person going around and then doing the second?
It's really up to the chair, the mayor, how he wants to run the meeting. You can ask for a motion, but any council member can speak at any time. Once we get a motion and a second, you can also debate that motion. I mean, this is your meeting, this is your discussion, have a full discussion, and then at some point, someone can make a motion. There's, if three members have already spoken, the other two don't want to speak, that's fine, but then someone can make a motion. There's no hard pass rule.
So I take it with all these committees that we come back to no decisions can be made at a committee level without bringing it back to the council, correct?
Correct. It's really just a way of doing some of the work, getting something to a point where you can recommend something to the whole city council for approval, but this ad hoc cannot bind the city in any way, shape or form.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to nominate Wendy and Peter to sit on this committee.
I'll second.
Councilmember Crawford,
Aye.
Councilmember Selena,
Aye.
Councilmember Cornish,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nunn,
Aye.
Mayor Amoruso.
Aye.
Thank you, motion passes.
Thank you, Rusty.
Thank you, council members. Now, we'll go on to number 5, consent calendar items. For public comment. Like, public comment on consent calendar. Any?
No written public comment.
Thank you. All right. Looking for a motion. Want someone else to speak on something?
Just in the correspondence?
Do I? Just the consent calendar.
I'll motion to approve the consent calendar items
As presented.
as presented.
Sorry.
Councilmember Crawford,
Aye.
Councilmember Selena,
Aye.
Councilmember Cornish,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nunn,
Aye.
Mayor Amoruso.
Aye.
Thank you, motion passes.
Did you have something you wanted to pull back about?
No, I'm just saying that I was on the wrong page, that's what it's, not right here.
Okay, I was like, oh, I don't wanna skip if you had something.
No, sorry.
No public hearings, regular agenda items, 7.1, approve completion of the recognition of the Public Works Department adopt resolution 2025-06, approving the job classification and setting the salary range for a management analyst and eliminate the director's classifications. And I'm gonna go to Margaret for that report.
So this will be completion of the reorganization of the Public Works Department. And in doing so would eliminate the Director of Public Works job classification and create a management analyst position. And the reasoning for doing this is with the creation of the superintendent position to full-time, which is needed to have someone out in the field have time, as explained last meeting, to supervise the crews. We don't need two top-level management positions. What we really need is a top management position and a mid-management position. And so the management analyst position creates that mid-management position. And so in doing so, and setting the pay range at the 67,991 to 82,644 range, the city would save 10,481 at the top step salary range. The salary chart is included in the packet. And the new organizational chart is in the packet. And I'm willing to answer any questions you may have.
Is there a job description for the public works superintendent?
That was in last week's packet, 2 weeks ago's packet. When, it may not have been in the packet because it was already a job. And we didn't change the job description. We only changed it from a .60 position to a full-time position. So we didn't change the job description itself. The job description stayed the same. We just increased the number of hours. The previous superintendent split his time 50-50, half in the office and half out in the field. And that will be the expectation of the new superintendent, half in the office, half in the field, supervising the crew. He'll just have more, or she will have more hours to do that.
So just to be super clear, I know the answer to this, but I'm just gonna state it so that you can correct me if I'm wrong. The superintendent position was Selby Beck prior,
Correct.
correct? And for many years, and so we are not changing anything about that position except the number of hours worked, correct?
Correct.
We are removing the public works director position
Correct.
and we are adding the management analyst position.
Correct.
Okay, so we currently have a public director, correct? Public works director right now.
Correct.
Will that public works director then be laterally moved or put into the management role, or will that person have to apply for a new position as the management analyst or the superintendent position?
She can apply for the superintendent position because that's an upper level position. She can apply for that position. If she does not obtain that position, she'll have the opportunity to receive the management analyst position without having to apply.
Okay. And the job code is the same pay or less pay for the management analyst position?
It's less pay at the top position by $10,481.
Okay. That answers all of my questions. Thank you.
Okay, Rusty, good. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Got nothing?
No, somebody else can go.
Okay. No,
Just want to make sure I understand, so if the person that was in there right now, who's been filling both roles you're saying? Filling two roles kind of?
No, there's been no
I know there's
supervision
been
out
no-
in the field.
Yeah, I know there's been no supervision there, I didn't know if that person, one person was filling.
No,
Okay. And so. Would be another thing, I'm not sure if I remember this right, was Sylvie working part-time this last few years or full-time? It seemed like I remember something about he had gone to part-time. Am I wrong with that?
His position was a .60 position. He's had been part-time for many years.
And in your feeling, do we need, on the superintendent position, do we need a full-time or is that something that somebody would be able to do part-time?
No, we need a full-time position. It will be the department head position for Public Works. And it's a high-level position that's needed.
Okay.
It's the biggest department within the city.
Okay, well, those questions I had on that.
Could you maybe elaborate for us so that everybody feels at ease as to why you feel that position needs to be a full-time position? What are some of the duties that are not being performed currently that you're concerned about so that we have a good idea as to why we need to go from a .6 to a full-time?
Certainly. So currently there is not anyone overseeing the staff on a regular basis out in the field to make sure the crews are doing the tasks that they're supposed to be doing. The superintendent oversees streets, the wastewater treatment plant, the water division, the main public works division, applying for grants for public works, which there have been no grants sought after in the 2+ years that I've been here. There's reporting requirements that the superintendent would be required to do, that some right now are being outsourced. There are dam reports at the wastewater treatment plant that we could do in-house that are now being outsourced. There are a multitude of things that the superintendent position can do that we are now either not doing or that we're outsourcing.
If I may, why don't we fill that position first? Since it is a high level position. Since there's nobody in there currently, and it sounds like the Public Works Director, I gotta get all the names correct here, is doing what they can. So why don't, and I might be a little late on this, 'cause I'm just joining this, kind of midterm here. Why isn't the Public Works Superintendent been filled? Or at least put out there for advertisement?
It is currently out there for,
Oh,
it is currently
Oh,
being
good.
advertised.
But in fairness, it just got posted.
It did just get posted.
So I think what Rusty's asking is why, when Selby passed, wasn't that position put out for at an appropriate time after his passing, not to be disrespectful to Selby's
I've
position.
been working on this reorganization since Selby's passing, and it's just been I've been able to bring it to the council.
well, there's a lot of organizing here, so that's my thing, if it's the top position needs to get filled first. So there's a supervisor in the field, then they have time to split their time between 50% in the office, 50% in the field. So the crew has some supervision, that I think that would be the first one to get filled, and then I'm gonna go on a limb here and say the management analyst could be a flexible one from that. After you get the top level position filled, I think there might be able to look at the management analyst a little bit different. Not to say they're not needed, but without knowing what the job description is for a Public Works Superintendent. And it's, when I read the management analyst job description, they're almost doing everything the Public Works Director is doing. And I'm assuming that they're gonna be in the office and not out in the field. the management analyst.
Correct. The management analyst position would be in the office.
So the management analyst position would be like a support staff to the superintendent.
Correct.
Piggybacking on what Rusty's saying, would it make sense to hire a superintendent of public works first and allow that person to hire the person that they felt was most capable of the management analyst job? Or is that,
That's my intent, is to hire the superintendent first and then make the other organizational change. I would. My guess is that the current director will apply for the superintendent position. And so I would want to wait until the superintendent position is filled before I make any other change.
okay,
What is the listed salary range for the superintendent position?
The monthly salary for the superintendent ranges from $6,512 and change to $7,916 and change per month.
Thank you.
So, yeah, I'm curious on that, when I was reading through the management analyst position, the list of, knowledge and abilities and everything. I understand these are different jobs, but I think the one issue I'm having, we're having our own issues fiscally and, we're at revenues possibly going down. And I'd like to see if there's, anywhere we possibly can be saving money. We're currently looking for an accountant also, that's a full-time position. Is there not a way that we could combine some of these positions, having somebody who could do more than one of these positions together? Because it seemed like years ago, Gardner, he did a couple different positions, it seemed like. And so I'm just curious about,
That was a very special case.
yeah,
That's unusual to have people
because I think he did.
have all those abilities.
Yeah. So I'm just curious is, and maybe not, I mean, I don't know a lot about it, but I'm curious if we can't combine. Like, if we're looking for somebody to be the accountant and a lot of this stuff, it looks like this person would be qualified to do that too. Would that be too much workload or? And educating on that if we could, I don't know.
Be honest, Vice Mayor, I have not looked into that. We've been recruiting for a finance person for well over 15 months, and we've not been able to find someone to fill the vacancy.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see a person having to wear many hats, coming from a field where I have to wear many. But I can't see this person diving into accounting too. There's a lot of mechanical things that happen within the city. And things that need to happen and move and whatnot.
Chasing fires.
Yeah, and I'd still like to, I just keep going back to, let's get the public works superintendent figured out. See how they're doing with the workload and that end of it, and then maybe come back and revisit the management analyst portion of this. And then go from there.
I don't want to have two top level management positions within the Public Works Department. It's too small of a department for two top level positions.
sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you a little bit. I don't think Rusty's saying to not eliminate, I think he's agreeing that we should eliminate the public works director.
Oh, yes, yes.
Yes.
Eliminate that, fill the public works superintendent. And then come back and look at the management analyst after that's been done.
where do you see Director of Public Works on the org chart here?
It's not, because it's a new org chart.
Right here.
That's the new organizational chart, which eliminates the Director of Public Works.
Thank you.
It's just the elimination of the Director of Public Works basically gets rid of the old classification of part-time and creates a new one. That oversees everybody within Public Works.
No.
Oh.
The superintendent position will become the director of the department.
Yeah.
The department head. The director position gets eliminated.
Yeah.
Which currently has an employee in it.
Yes.
That position, that person does not automatically go to the superintendent position. People have to apply to the superintendent position. It's not a guarantee for the current director.
It just came out, I assume the job.
Correct. We have one applicant so far. We have had many phone calls asking for information about it, which is good. It means people are interested. We're happy about the amount of phone calls we're getting.
Is the public work director planning on filling out application for it?
I did talk to her and encouraged her to apply. She didn't give me an answer one way or the other.
We really shouldn't be getting into specific applicants, just because that involves personnel matters. What we really have to discuss is a policy matter, do you want these positions or not? And then the city manager will then decide who fills those positions through the confidential, employment personnel recruitment process.
Correct.
I just say that I was kind of in agreement that the superintendent one should be filled first. I understand there's application of that, but I feel like it should be the first thing we're doing, personally.
What does it look like if we tabled this for 2 weeks?
Well, the superintendent position is out for advertisement. So what it means is it slows down the process because I won't hire anybody with the director position still on the table.
But
But it's in our budget to hire somebody for that superintendent position. So that shouldn't slow down that process.
Correct, but I don't want to make management people in the department. It's too much for our budget.
But those
Because,
positions are already budgeted though.
right, but it's not, it's not,
Not at a full-time level.
it's not,
Yeah, it is at a full-time level. It's in the budget at a full-time level.
it's not scheduled for next year's budget. In the budget that we're working for next year's.
I understand, but I think what Holger's trying to say is that if we leave things the way they are, we hire a superintendent. Then we can revisit the reorg so that we can remove the public works director position. And then we'll already have a superintendent in place who can then make a decision about the management analyst position. Am I correct?
That would be correct.
I don't think waiting a couple of weeks, generally hiring for one of these positions takes several weeks to over a month, hiring that high level position. So I don't think waiting a couple of weeks really affects anything that much personally. We could still take in applications. Still, make plans for interviews.
I actually think this solves a lot of the problem if we do it that way. Because you're not gonna carry the load of both of those positions. You'll bring this back up for revisiting, but then you'll have a superintendent, so you'll know what that person's capabilities are. Hell, you may not even need a management analyst if you get the right candidate. So, who knows? I don't know, to Holger's credit, I actually think that's kind of a good idea.
It's council's choice.
That's what they do. And you have anything else?
No, I'm good.
Okay, then I'm gonna open for public comment.
Barney Nestor Travado, you shouldn't leave the person in there for the deputy position. If you, it's a resolution, I understand, is this right, Margaret, to have it so that the deputy position is out of there? And the superintendent is the one that's going to be just over, they're not gonna have the deputy and the superintendent. So why would you have them both and pay them both if you can get away with getting rid of that deputy position and only having the superintendent? The other ones after that, but you need to get rid of that deputy now, you don't need to hold on to that position.
So we talk about expenditure.
What?
Any other public comment?
Yeah, any other public comment? Did we receive anything from internet?
No,
Or emails?
public comment.
Alright. Thank you. Closing public comment. So what is the wishes of the council?
So I just wanna, I wanna address that concern to some degree, not, but it's a valid point that's being brought up. The management analyst position essentially is going to replace the public director position. So it's a $10,000 a year difference. So by not hiring a management analyst, hiring a superintendent, then doing the reorg, you're swapping those positions out. And as long as it's done in a timely fashion, you're still not out any extra money than you would have been in hiring the superintendent. No whispering. Do you wanna say something, Margaret? I mean, please tell me if you think something doesn't make sense. Or if anything I'm saying is off base. I think it's an important topic, so I wanna hear anything you have to say or contribute to.
No, that is the cost difference.
Okay.
Yeah, I still feel the same way, but I believe we should focus.
So if we change this, then this resolution is null and void, and we'll have to come
Well, I
back.
think what I'm hearing is the consensus is probably just a table.
To the table, right, yeah.
Cause the superintendent thing has already happened,
Right,
Right.
so the only item before you was to delete the director position and add the management analyst, but what I'm sensing is that's not the will of the council right now. So that's what I'm hearing, so if someone wants to make a motion to table this,
right.
we can do that.
Peter, you didn't contribute it, do you? have
No, I'm listening to
thoughts?
everything. I mean, there were some valid points. I think I understand where she's coming from. It just, I think that it's gonna be the will of the council at this point, because I mean, there's a reason why she wants to handle it the way she's handling it. And yeah, I mean, to me, it makes a lot of sense, but then there's other points that are making sense too. So you have to look at all of those things, and I'm just one vote here, so that's why I figured it'll be the general consensus of the council.
I would just recommend if it's tabled, let's table this with a date certain to bring it back. So it
Yes, I
doesn't,
agree.
doesn't flag for, I
Right,
mean,
doesn't
if
just
you
keep
bring it
going
back at the
on.
very next meeting, that would be great,
I think that would be best, if that's the will of the council.
I don't.
But do we need?
I won't have a superintendent hired by the next city council meeting,
Exactly.
so it won't be any point to table it until then. You'll have to table it to further out.
I was gonna make the point that we'll probably need to wait for the applicants and look at people, we would have to wait at least 30 days.
You're probably looking 6 weeks out.
Yeah, I would say we could bring it back in 2 meetings and look at our applicants, see who we have, see if there's somebody. I don't know what other people's feelings are.
So unless someone,
March 27th.
Well, I would rather than, if that's the case, then that's operational thing that we have no control over.
Right.
So I would just give direction to table this until the superintendent position is filled.
Okay, I'm not ready to do that. What I wanna ask more question. If we agree to this reorganization now, is it effective as of tonight and the public works director position is eliminated? How, is there, when is the time frame?
No, I think I wrote it to where it was effective upon the hiring of the superintendent. Let me find the resolution.
That's what we just.
They stick around.
Sometimes I get the giggles, guys.
That is-
Honestly, water bottles would you?
It's just water.
So there's no clear anything in there?
It's basically a recommendation for.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
In the recommendation, it states that the completion of the reorganization of the Public Works Department would take effect upon the hiring of the superintendent.
Well, yeah,
Could have circumvented a whole lot of conversation.
well,
That's my bad for missing that.
then mine too.
Margaret, you should have known this with that earlier.
And the resolution only addresses the classification and salary for the management analyst.
So, yeah, everything we're just fussing about doesn't matter, because that's what she already claimed.
Yeah.
As long as it's filled in the 30 days.
Huh?
As long as it is filled in 30 days,
Oh, where's that at?
correct? So we have a 30-day window. From this point on,
What?
No, there's no 30 days.
There's no 30-day.
No, it's whatever it takes to
I
get
think,
it.
I think what Margaret's saying is, she will delete the director position, correct me if I'm wrong. We can create the management and analyst position tonight, she will delete the director position once the superintendent is hired, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, that's what it says on here. That's essentially what we were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right?
I just wanna make sure that there's enough stuff to do for these two people. You know, before hiring two managers for 5 people in the city. It comes down for me is to making sure that there's enough work to be done by both let me flip to the org chart. By the public works superintendent and the management analyst. That there's enough work for them to get paid and to fulfill and actually have, you know. Produce results. And I'm just concerned that. They're gonna be walking on each other. And it's gonna be like 1.5 people needed. And being that, you know, revenues are down and this and that, that's where I come from, is just making sure we have enough money to pay for these two. I know the jobs are needed, but I'm going back and forth between. Does it need 2 people? 2 managers, to do this? That's where I'm sitting.
I think that the management analyst position, even though it says management. I wish it said administrative analyst, because I think that that position is more of an administrative role to the superintendent. Is that correct? Am I off?
No, you're correct.
So what I envision would be, you've got the boss out in the field doing stuff and bringing stuff back to this person as an administrative assistant, essentially going, I need you to file these papers, I need you to write this thing, cause that person is gonna be busy in the field doing things. That's how I would envision that, but so maybe it's more of an administrative role versus a management analyst role. But I don't know because I don't work here.
I still have the concern of, okay. Let's hire that direct, superintendent. and then bring this up, because see if we need what's needed. I mean, it's been brought up, we might have someone who can do more, and I kind of get Rusty's point that, you know, things are pretty tight financially. It's, we get anybody who can multitask and do more, that would be great. I don't know.
I would also like to point out that, you know, we are not the boots on the ground and we do have to rely on Margaret, et cetera. So, I mean, there's some certainly level of trust that, you know, if these things are needed, here's the why and how. So I'm not questioning necessarily, do we need this position? I mean, it seems like we do. We can always come back to it and obviously listen to performance reviews and all, you know, or am I wrong on that?
Well, you can't hear performance reviews of
But evaluations and the bottom line of thereof.
the of the staff. You're not privileged to those.
That's fine.
But during the budget, process, you can, is when you have the opportunity, we bring you in the budget staffing allocations, you can downgrade a position from full-time to half-time in the budget.
Okay.
Thank you.
I think I would agree with you on what you're saying there. I'm not saying that we won't need a secondary person, but depending on who we hire, what duties will need that person to perform as the analyst. You know, it might change once we have this public works superintendent to be able to tell us, this is what I need from a person, and it might be a lot less stuff needed and possibly less qualification. That could end up saving the city a lot of money if we just wait on the whole analyst thing for now until we have a superintendent in place. And I'm not saying that the city manager or the staff are doing it wrong, there needs to be another position. I'm just saying, I think we just wait on that analyst thing until we have that other position filled.
Another option is to approve the reclassification today as is and direct staff not to keep that position vacant until that position's hired and reevaluate it, but you would need to keep the director on the books, right, as of today. Approve the management analyst position, keep it vacant. Director to keep it vacant. If you hire a superintendent, then you can, you know, reevaluate that at that time.
And we have our budget review coming up in April, we're assuming. And at that time, we could also make the decision to reduce that to a part-time position. If you thought, well, hey, we got this stellar superintendent. We can reduce this. Is that, Frank, is that legally, that's something we can do, correct?
Yes.
So my concern is, okay, I just want to make sure if we approve doing it the way you're talking about, we approve that we're gonna have this analyst position down the road, we get direction that it remains vacant. And then we've approved it at this salary range and this new superintendent comes in and doesn't need so much. We might be able to hire a person with less qualifications, less stuff. We're not bound to what we agreed to tonight. We could rewrite that analyst job description.
Yeah, I mean, any classification can be tweaked by the council at any time. Okay, but you also have to realize there are people in these positions now, and it does affect. There are personnel implications is all I'm gonna say for the purpose of this discussion.
Yeah.
So I would say either table this thing until the superintendent position's filled and revisit it. Or do a half measure tonight, approve the management analyst position, but do not approve the deletion of the director. And you can direct staff not to fill the management analyst position and revisit that later.
And that's what I was gonna bring up, because that was concerned, because there is someone actually in that spot right now.
I know.
And you can't just hammer,
Yeah, no,
because
I certainly.
you get over space.
Yeah,
You know, that's my.
I certainly don't mean that, you know, to do something where we would be eliminating that person's spot tomorrow, they don't have a job. I don't want that at all. I just. So I make that clear, I'm not trying to do that here, I don't think anyone was trying to do that here. So we want to keep whoever that person is in there for now. And we're saying when that new superintendent's hired, he can decide what he needs, maybe more.
Or she gets
And work
hired,
with the city manager.
or she gets hired as a superintendent, who knows?
Yeah, she could
It applies.
Which, I mean, that's what the recommendation says.
Right,
It literally says.
yeah,
Staff recommends the approval of the completion of the reorg of the Public Works Department to take effect upon the hiring of the superintendent. Adopt the resolution, create the job classification, so all we're doing is creating the classification and setting a salary range.
Right.
And we're eliminating the director classification. So,
correct.
but none of this happens till a superintendent is hired, which. I mean, I'm comfortable with, and I feel like we can come back and revisit some of the other issues later.
Or retool it, yeah.
Yeah, or, you know, look at it more down the line, possibly.
I would be comfortable with approving that with the stipulation that the position can't be filled until it goes back to council, until after that, with that stipulation in place.
Is basically how Frank described it, create a half day tonight.
Yeah.
Create the position, not fill it until the soup is hired.
Mhm.
And
Frank,
keep
can
the
you
director
tell
for
me how to
that.
make a motion on that?
Yeah, no,
It would basically be a motion to approve the resolution, which creates the management analyst position. Do not do not delete the director position. Approve the resolution as presented and keep it vacant. And do not delete the director position until the superintendent has been hired. But it sounds like the council wants to revisit that completely. So
No,
what I would say is approve the management analyst position, keep it vacant, do not delete the director position, and come back to the council after the superintendent's been filled.
Yes, yes, that's exactly what I wanted.
Okay. I motion to approve
The resolution is presented.
the resolution as presented to add the classification of the management analyst. Not to remove the director position until the superintendent position has been filled. And to keep the management analyst position open.
That's not quite what I said.
Okay.
What I said, well, let me try to say this, and then if someone likes it, just say so moved.
Okay,
Here.
thank you.
What I'm hearing, and this is what I'm hearing, is the council is prepared to approve the resolution creating the management analyst position tonight. With the stipulation that it remains vacant. And also do not delete the director position. And then once the superintendent is hired for Margaret to come back, for the council to reevaluate the management analyst and director needs.
So moved.
So moved.
sounds like we got a second too.
Yeah.
Councilmember Crawford,
Aye.
Councilmember Felina,
Aye.
Councilmember Hornish,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nunn,
Aye.
Mayor Amoruso.
Aye.
Thank you, motion passes.
Okay, now the 7.2, adopt resolution 2025-07, approving professional services agreement with Andy Heath for financial services in the amount of not to exceed $100,000. Margaret.
So the item for you is to approve contract with Andy Heath as our contract finance director for $100,000 for the remainder of this year and for next year. His hourly wage is $145 an hour. As you know, he's been doing forensic financial work for us, and I believe that his work has been well worth what we have been paying him. He'll be doing our budget workshops coming up here shortly. And I'm asking for adoption of resolution 2025-07 approving his contract. And I'm available to answer any questions.
Okay, I'm gonna open up to,
Yeah.
I want to do public comment first.
That's right.
So, open it up for public comment. Anyone like to get up and speak on this? Yes, board, yes. Just push the button. There you go. And don't forget to shut it off when you're done. Or when you leave the podium.
So I'm just curious,
Can you tell us your name?
oh, wait,
Yeah, name
Conley,
Name and community.
Plymouth.
Okay.
I was just curious, what is the capacity of the work that he does for you guys? Is it just, oh, sorry, that he does for
No,
you?
that's why you can ask her. She's the one that deals with it on the day.
Yeah, I was just curious. Is he just kind of going over the bookkeeping? Is he doing, like, trying to find historical mistakes?
I mean, I would
And-
direct that to,
Do you have somebody on staff that already does the accounting, and why are they not capable of doing the same work? Is it that intense?
It is that intense. He's doing forensic financing. We did not have anyone doing our finances for 3 years. They were,
Lately,
they just weren't doing it. And, we found stuff shoved in drawers when they left the city. And he has, in the short time he's been here, he's done 2.5 years worth of finances. And he's been doing forensic financial work, and he's been moving money from fund to fund where it was placed in the wrong fund and he needed to move it to the correct fund. And there is no one on staff that's capable of doing that. We have an account clerk that takes utility billing. We don't have anybody that has in-depth financial knowledge that's capable of doing what he's doing.
the finance director, basically.
So how long is this duration? Like, are you going to find somebody that could take over, like, for lack of a better word, the bookkeeping of the city? Because it sounds like the utility person doesn't have that capacity.
No, he's not a bookkeeper, he's our.
Yeah.
He's our finance
Yeah,
director.
okay.
And
Yes.
this is typically what a finance director would make in any city. It's actually less than what a typical finance director would make.
Right,
And it's just a few $1,000s less than what our previous finance director made.
gotcha. So you're gonna have a finance director, and then you're also gonna have an accountant that does
No,
no, so this guy's
Yes,
he's
he'll
gonna
do
do
it
it
all.
all.
Yeah.
He's-
Correct.
Okay, gotcha, that's where I was confused. I thought he was
Hmm.
contracted on the side to just fix some problems, but you didn't have anybody day to day taking care of it, and he was just fixing the problems, but I may have been misinformed.
There isn't anybody day to day right now. There has been a job posted for an accountant. For how long?
quite a while now.
That's 15 months.
Yeah,
So,
We're looking for another account clerk that can do accounts payable. But that is a line level.
Gotcha. So this gentleman, he's gonna be contracted, sounds like indefinitely until, correct?
Correct.
So would it be, and this, I may be going out on a limb, is to hire somebody that has the capacity to do what he does and to oversee all of the accountings of the city, and then have a support staff of the utility person? Would that be an option for the
that
city?
would be everybody's heart's desire, yes.
Those people don't exist today.
Well, they do.
Yeah, I would love,
Hard to find.
If
we
I
would
may
find
ask,
the accountant position. I would love to, we both of those positions this role, but I don't know if that's feasible, that we're going to easily do that.
how many years now has Andy been trying to help out? I mean, how many years is he going back? This is some time he's been helping, and it's finally getting the city kind of caught back up, correct? And that's basically what he's been doing.
I'm gonna have to shut this down because we've exceeded our 3 minutes.
Oh,
Thank you, sorry. Any other public comment? Anything from emails?
There's no written public
No,
comment for this
thank you
item.
very much. Okay, now,
No, close.
we got closed public comment.
Okay, sorry.
No, go on. Rusty?
He's taken on a lot, it seems like, in a couple of weeks, a couple of meetings I've been here, this gentleman's firm and him. they're trying to remedy now since what, 2021 or even further, correct?
2020
Yeah,
in the,
I'm just trying to get
Months
some
he's been
history
here.
behind this of why he's in here all of a sudden. And he's making good progress from what I'm seeing.
right, he's almost up to current.
And our prep, and so for a little historical knowledge, so Michael, our last finance director, basically was hired kind of in a similar situation where he came in, was hired for a part-time for 6 months to kind of get things after Jeff left, corrected. And then he just kind of fell into the finance director's role and just kind of got hired on as a finance director till he quit when Rex quit. So it kind of just worked out that way. He was supposed to be short term, but then he ended up just extending, going into a full-time position.
That's what,
And that was, and you made mention that, how much was Michael getting paid? For a full-time finance director?
He was, in 2019, he made $80,400, which is equivalent to 96,134 in today's dollars.
that's what.
And just to be clear, this is a not to exceed amount, so it's.
That was my next question. This is a not to exceed,
It's not, it's
right?
gonna be on a time and details basis, it's really there just so
This is a bench holder,
Margaret,
not to exceed.
yeah, and
Still not.
so she doesn't have to keep coming back every $25,000.
Yeah, so, one question, something Mark said when we started in here. Is, I understand the not to exceed 100,000, when I was reading this, looking at this. I took that to mean per fiscal year, not to exceed 100,000. You said something when you started talking about. This would be for the rest of this year and next year, so that would be $50,000 per year. That would be 2 years.
No, it's for the next 4 months and then all of next year,
Fiscal year.
Yeah,
all
So-
of next fiscal year.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
So it would be, for more than a year.
Yeah, 12 was 4.
Yeah,
Yeah,
16
16
months, so
16
it's not to exceed 100,000 for 16 months.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, not just 12, right?
My question is, the position has been unfilled for 15 months, is an accountant position.
It was a senior accountant's position and we were unable to fill that, so we lowered it to an account clerk position. Thinking we could bring someone in at the lower level and train them to do the day-to-day account clerk position, and we still haven't been able to fill the position. We're still advertising.
What was do you remember the salary for the senior accountant?
Just a moment.
Thank you. And then I will have a follow-up question on that, which is, what are the needs going forward? Is there a timeline? Do we revisit fiscal year 26, 27 if we hire him for 25, 26?
I don't have a game plan for that.
Okay, thank you.
The senior accountant salary was $51.29 to $62.34 a month.
Thank you.
Second question, I don't know if I missed it, on our account, how many applications have we got for any for that accountant spot? Yeah.
Not a one,
Okay.
That's actually not true.
not for the accountant position.
For the current position you have open, there was one,
The account clerk
yes.
position, we have one, but they only want part-time.
That's anything from you, anymore?
Me?
No, that's
Oh. He's writing notes.
No, I'm just a real quick one, so as he gets caught up and stuff, will he be able to help out the current day-to-day stuff too, if we need that too?
He is helping with some of the day-to-day things that are more complex. And he is helping me learn some of those things to extend my workday. That's so nice of him.
guess in other words, like what is his scope of work job, after the heavy lifting is done in the forensic part?
His hours will cut back.
Who's currently running payroll and doing the smaller, tasks of account clerk? The account clerk that you want to fill that position, who's currently doing those roles that you would hope that this person would take over?
Victoria and I do payroll together and all a lot of the other things I do. And Dana runs the AP checks as the double check with Tracy enters the AP invoices. Dana does the double checks before she double checks the invoices before she runs the checks. And then it's a dual signature between Kathleen and I, or Kathleen Victoria, or Victoria and I. It's a double signature on the check. But that's how those duties have all been split within the office staff.
So, where I just wanted to verify we weren't paying $145 an hour for those things, the smaller things that an account clerk would fill. And so Frank, stop me if I can't, if this is. But in regards to looking at the applications for an account clerk, where my mind is going right now, because I know the person who applied part-time. Wouldn't it make sense to consider a part-time position to relieve some of those duties? And possibly have that person work into a part-time position to alleviate, and have Frank teaching somebody who's going to remain in that position. Not Frank, Andy, you knew what I meant. As soon as you smirked, I knew I said the wrong name. So that, because we just don't have much to pick from, right, in Plymouth with a finance degree. So, I'm just throwing it out there that is something that I think could be considered. If we've reduced it from a senior accountant to an account clerk, we can't get that filled, but we do have an applicant who's qualified for part-time, then that maybe takes something off of Andy and we're paying less to Andy. You know what I'm saying? To me, that makes sense.
So you want Andy to be as needed, not salary, but hourly or?
Just to be clear, Andy's already hourly, he already is as
Yeah,
needed.
there's no salary.
He bills on a time and materials basis, again, he's not gonna be billing, he's not gonna be just sending a lump sum every month, it's gonna be on as needed. So actually, as work gets done and he gets more efficient and catches up, his work will scale down. So I just wanna make that clear.
The only point I was trying to make, Holger, was just that if we have an applicant that's qualified that only wants part-time, maybe that would be better to hire a part-time person to start offloading some of the things from staff and from Andy to alleviate that hourly amount of hours we need him, especially if the person's really proficient. Because this position has been open for so long and there has been no applicants.
I am channeling my inner Dun. And just wanna make sure that we're not paying, not to exceed $100,000 for something that the workload is here and then it's gonna go here, and what are we paying that kind of money for?
That's not happening.
No,
We're only paying him for high level work. We're not paying him for account clerk level work.
My question, I know he's done really good work for us. I know things were a mess. My question, being new, why are we looking at making the contract? So we should be doing stuff like this fiscal year, I think. why are we saying why are we not just saying approving so much to get to the end of fiscal year and then revisiting this? Why are we looking at the 16-month thing? I don't get that. I don't.
Because it's my understanding that we do need him for the next fiscal year as well.
And we need him in preparing that
Yeah,
budget.
we may very well, I just don't understand why.
We
we're not doing
operate
it.
across fiscal years with contracts. That's a common.
And again, it's a not to exceed, so
It's a.
chances of
common
it
thing.
ever getting anywhere near 100,000, slim to none.
Okay.
It's probably gonna be 30 or.
All right, well, that's like good. I didn't know. I thought when you do stuff year on a fiscal basis, so. The question, yeah.
It's just so she doesn't come back and back and back and back every time, you know, he hits a wall or a level.
Can I ask a quick question? In this note, it says that we signed a $20,000 contract with Andy. And we have now surpassed that sum. How much have we surpassed that sum?
By about $20,000.
So that's already over budget that was not approved to go.
Correct,
So he's just waiting and hoping for payment.
correct.
Hell of a guy.
Yeah, I mean, the more I'm learning about this, and I will echo strongly that Andy has done an exceptional job. I would like to find what the bottom line is with council, please, and so that we can make either adopt a resolution or.
We gotta check.
So you can either make a motion or you can ask the mayor to call a question and ask somebody to make a motion.
Right. So looking for a motion, anyone would like to make a motion?
I'm sorry, I have one more question.
I need to correct my last statement. We did cut a check for him last pay run.
Past the 20,000 in
Yes.
contract,
Yes.
how does that work if it's not approved by council?
That's what brought to light the overage.
But it's, in that, but Margaret has a certain level of,
Correct. What
Check
I'm
signing.
what I'm saying is I went over. And that's what brought it to my attention that I needed to bring a new contract to the council, is because his last invoice was
Got it.
over.
thank you.
So essentially, if we approve this 100,000, we're already into it for $20-something thousand.
Up to.
No,
No.
Correct.
I'm saying. If
Yeah,
we
yeah.
approve the 100,000,
Yes.
we're already minus 25
Yeah.
grand out of that 100,000.
Gotcha.
So now we're only 75 grand. Or whatever, I'm just
Correct.
using rough
Yes.
numbers.
Yeah. That's correct.
Because my next question was gonna be, how about we approve 50 grand? But now we're already halfway eaten into that.
Right. Or a quarter.
Well, we approved 50, I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
If I
yeah.
lowered, yeah,
Yeah,
cause
you
that
lowered
was
it.
gonna be my
Yeah.
thought, maybe if everybody be more comfortable lowering the amount, but we're already 20,
Yeah, you're already
Something
half
into
of it,
that.
right.
so, yeah.
So essentially, in 8 months, it's cost us 40,000 for services in 8 months. So, yes, I'm hearing this right. So about $60,000 a year is what he's actually costing us. If he kept working, you know, at the same pace, working on our stuff that he.
Yeah, I would say he's worked more now than he'll probably hopefully ever have to. There was just so much deferred maintenance. He is very efficient at what he does.
Very.
Yeah.
I know he's very good, and I know he, you know, and the staff, they're a big mess. I was trying to define, you know, sure, I know, so we're actually looking at, it was about 60. And so that gives us some idea if he's already done the majority of the workload or the roughest years that he had to reconcile. That we should be under that then in the future. So we should be under 60,000.
Right, that's why it's the not to exceed, right?
Yeah, well, not to exceed 100, I think,
Right.
if you scale it more down, we shouldn't exceed 60 next fiscal year then, if going off of. What you're saying, more than likely, I
So
mean, I
what-
know we're not guaranteed, I know
Okay,
we're
so
not
what,
promised
so
that.
what about this? What if not to exceed 100, but if it approaches 60, she comes back to us.
Well, I can always report on where we
Yeah, with a
are
report
on-
saying, hey,
on
we're
the
getting close
contract.
over here. You know, we need to look a little more at this for whatever reason, you know, whatever comes to light, right?
That was gonna be my suggestion, is that because this was an oversight once. And we went, I mean, 20-something thousand over is quite a bit over a contract amount. So I would say probably monthly reporting on where we're at with what we've spent.
But I don't think it was contract amount, it was hourly.
It says right there,
Okay,
there was a $20,000 contract.
right, okay,
It was,
And they see-
and it was my error.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
so just to prevent that for a CYA, maybe, or some sort of reporting a month, every month or every other month, and where we're at.
I can come back every other month with where we are on his contract. Be happy to do that.
And that could just be a quick received informational item on the
Right.
consent calendar, it doesn't have to be a
Yeah.
Yeah, big
discussion.
discussion, yeah.
All right, I make a motion to adopt resolution 2025-07, approving a contract with Andy Heath for financial services in an amount not to exceed $100,000. And authorizing the city manager to sign the same and adding the monthly reporting to council
I think it was every other month.
every other month.
Yeah, okay. I'll second.
Councilmember Crawford.
Give me just a second. Brent, should it say anything on here about the timeline? I know we're in a motion, am I still allowed to ask that?
We have a first and a second, so you can have discussion after a first and a second. Well, so what do you mean timeline?
Like, in the resolution. It says, it doesn't talk about the fiscal years, it just says an amount not to exceed 100,000, or does it not matter?
It really doesn't matter, it's $100,000, whether that, and that goes as long as it goes. I
Okay,
think the intent is for this to go in next year, fiscal year as well.
okay,
But I think with the 5-monthly reporting, you'll be able to get a sense of how fast and what's going on, and you'll be able to, but really, for a not to exceed contract. We won't, the term on the contract itself is through the end of next fiscal year.
okay,
Okay, so the contract itself is through the end of next fiscal year.
okay, that's what I was asking. Okay, so now I'm just gonna do my roll call, aye.
Councilmember Colina.
Aye.
That's good to make sure.
Councilmember Hornish.
Yeah, mine were correct.
Vice Mayor Nunn.
Oh, sorry.
Now you're kidding,
Were you afraid I was, you're.
No, I wasn't listening, actually. I was like,
Aye.
I was still talking to Wendy.
Vice Mayor Amoruso.
Aye.
Thank you, motion
Trying to
passes.
jump the gun.
Apparently, he
Those
was on
good
the
cards.
lottery, his fault.
Right? It's a good, it's about giggles.
I'm just gonna make one comment, I wanna say that in no way asking these questions. Is there any implication that Andy is not stellar at what he does, because he's incredible. So I have no issue with that, it's just, a lot of money. And. Yeah.
And we're broke.
Okay, so now we move on to 7.3.
Mayor,
Oh, Wes.
I'd like to request a 5-minute break.
Okay. We're gonna break.
We're almost done.
Yeah, we're almost there.
be a quick item.
Okay, go. Thank you.
Okay, just so.
We're good. Relax. Body, yeah.
5-minute break.
I'll handle it.
Yep. Absolutely. So.
Seven point three, approve the contract with MBK Engineers to prepare dam. That's all right. I'll start over.
Mike.
That's all good. So 7.3.
Mike,
Oh,
54 is Mike.
it's not, oh, there it is. Is that better? Can you hear me now? Yes. Okay, we're gonna go 7.3, approve a contract with MBK Engineers to prepare dam inundation maps and emergency action plan for EAP in an amount not to exceed $32,000 to submit to the Department of Water Resources, DWR, Division of Safety of Dams, DSOD, in a form approved by the city attorney. Margaret?
So just as you said, I'm gonna just give you a small amount of the background on this. So this all started on July 14th in 2017, when the city received a determination of hazard classification of significant from DWR, requesting inundation map and emergency action plan regarding the Plymouth Effluent Dam number 489 from the wastewater treatment plant. Fast forward ahead, the city tried to get the dam downgraded to low risk. DWR was having none of that, and they still consider it to be a significant risk. And so on February 18th of this year, we received a notice of violation from DWR DSOD, stating that we do in fact have to file the map and the EAP, and we have 90 days to file the maps. So Public Works did reach out to MBK, who's a well-known firm in Sacramento, who does these maps, and they do have the time. They're doing them for several other cities at this time. And they believe they can meet the deadline of 90 days. $32,500 is not unreasonable. Our engineering firm doesn't have the expertise to do these. It's a very specialized thing, these inundation maps. So staff is recommending that the city council approve the contract with MBK Engineering to prepare the maps And then after they get approved by DSOD, then they go to the Cal OES for their input and approval as well.
And this is sewer fund, not general fund.
So this,
Right.
this is like an 8-year mess that we get to clean up.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this is for location of the dam, this is one down by Doc Mason's place.
She doesn't know who Doc Mason is.
Oh,
And
Correct.
It's off
sorry.
Well,
It's by the spray fields.
by the spray fields.
So it's
Yes, it
further
is by
down,
Doc Mason's.
further down than the Mason Ranch than around the corner out by the spray fields that.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. By the straight.
Okay, but I wanna go to the public comment first, and then we'll come back to council. That's all right. So that's all to open it. Open it to public comment, anyone in the room like to talk? Any, one email?
No written public comment.
Thank you. Close public comment now. I'll go to whoever wants to talk next, doesn't really matter.
So my curiosity, and this is just my curiosity, the bid now is 32,500. I wonder what it would have been 8 years ago just to get it done.
What half of that?
That's fair,
Good point, Mike.
right?
Yeah.
What would be some of the penalties and or fees if this doesn't go through? And you mentioned that it'll go to another organization after this one. And is there a possibility for more fees?
The fines for not doing this are $1,000 a day. And they could put a lien on the property.
Thank you.
Second part.
Oh, yeah. And once, is it who's approving this DSOD? It goes to,
And then it will go to Cal OES, Office of Emergency Services.
thank you. And so once DSOD is done with it and it goes to Cal Services, they will approve it most likely, or is there any sort of chance that it'll come back again?
They,
Or we get-
they can provide comments that we may have to answer, but I don't know.
So we're confident this $32,500 is a one-time shot.
I believe so.
Thank you.
I did a little Googling, as one does.
Start with Google.
I Googled, and it turns out that, I don't think it's an approve or not approve thing unless these engineers totally screwed up the whole thing, which I don't think will be the case. It's just, here it is, here's the report, here's the information that we have to have on file for OES.
Yes.
It's essentially an emergency thing, if the dam broke and floods Plymouth, which would never happen, it's not going the right way, but that's another discussion.
And
Not going downstream either.
There's nobody there.
just as a side note, this has to be done every 10 years.
So we're due for this in another 2 years?
No, it'll have to be done in another 10 years.
Thank you. So this restarts the clock.
Yes.
Thank you.
I actually read the letters in the packet on this earlier, and kind of share the sentiment. I don't understand why people speak drug on this, councils back 8 years ago, or past administration. I think it's pretty cut and dry. I think we need to get it done, so I'm a yes on this one, if somebody's ready to make that.
We just need to
Yeah,
get it
some
done.
background on that is our city fell apart when we fired Jeff. And we had about 7 years of flailing, no one at the helm. So we're gonna see a lot of this coming at us. Things that are now starting to get caught up and brought forward. As things come, as a lot of things just fell through the cracks and didn't get handled. So be aware that this is not the first, this is not, and it won't be the last. You know, these things are gonna come at us from different angles, just because there's a lot of stuff that Mark's now catching. And Frank and, things that just didn't get handled because there was no one really there.
For the record, I'll never catch that the dam is,
No,
I'm just, just the one.
You're better than this,
I'm
right?
not an engineer, yeah.
I'm not engineering. But no, it has to be, there's nothing, there's no question. So that's, I'm used to,
Anybody else?
So we need a motion then.
so now we just need a motion.
I'll make a I make a motion that we approve a contract with MBK Engineers to prepare dam inundation map or maps and an emergency action plan in an amount not to exceed $32,500 to submit to the Department of Water Resources Division of Safety of Dams in a form approved by the city attorney.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Crawford,
I,
Councilmember Felina,
Aye.
Councilmember Cornish,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Nunn,
Aye.
Mayor Amoruso.
Aye.
Thank you, motion passes.
I want to make sure there was enough time between John and I.
I thought you just were gonna eye for him.
Well, that's why I just told you ahead of time. This time, don't worry, I'm on before and I'm close. Going your way on this one.
Calm down.
Yeah, don't you jump over my chair.
Okay, so now we're going to go to council communications. Brief reports and matters of general interest. Senior Director's report.
I'll try to make this short. We've been gearing up for summer and the pool season. We have several applications for recreation aid already. We have 3 returning lifeguards that have committed to returning. We still have room for a couple more. Victoria and I attended an HR seminar with the Chamber of Commerce for new laws yesterday. We're both going to a grant writing next month with the Chamber of Commerce. We're trying to get more involved with the Chamber of Commerce in the county. Like I said, we have the public works superintendent that we're advertising for with 1 application and a lot more interest with phone calls. And that's my report.
Thank you very much. Mayor and council members' reports. Has anyone gone to any meetings or have anything to say or?
I was curious, Dick, you jogged my memory. I thought I saw something about free swim lessons or something on social media or somewhere. Is that here in the county? Does anybody know anything about that? Going on?
No. Is that, or is that the?
We will have free swim lessons. We'll have vouchers for free swim lessons from an agency in the county that we're partnering with.
Okay, and then the last year, we had something in place, right, for people vouchers to get into the pool, didn't we? There was something that was. Rotary or
Zinfandel Ridge,
Yeah, there was we crowdsourced money, we had a little fund drive within ZR and provided enough money and a little more, which is nice, for everybody to use the pool for free last year.
Alright, I'd love to see something like that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was just saying, just to be clear, this is for council member reports. We can't get into any like substantive policy discussions that I'd like to see. So just, let's go down the board.
Yeah, just
Everyone
want to
give a report
a
on
meeting.
any activity
Yeah.
or any meetings that you've done, if nothing to report.
I have nothing.
Lenny?
nada.
Nothing.
No,
I got nothing either. So now we're gonna go to council requests for future agenda items.
I've been seeing a lot of improvement at the Veterans Park, and I'm wondering if we can get an update.
that's gonna come next meeting from Jim Weiss.
Well, terrific.
Ask and you shall receive.
Rusty?
Nothing at this time.
Wendy?
I have 2 requests. I'm gonna do one. I have 1 request for a future agenda item, which is to consider moving our meetings to 1 meeting per month. And possibly same for planning commission. I don't know if we can make that decision or if that's their own thing, but I just wanna give a little context, if that's okay. I would be very interested to know what it costs to have staff here late into the evening, 4 times a month, essentially 2 planning commission and 2 city council meetings. And then in addition, Frank, I know Frank ain't cheap. So Not
But he's worth it.
I can say something, but I'm not going to.
Don't say it. You're on the record. So, and then same with, I would assume Erica for planning. I'm sure she carries a hefty bill too. So my thoughts just are in moving forward and looking at fiscal responsibilities. From my limited experience in sitting at council and longer experience watching council meetings, I would think that maybe we would be, it'd be advantageous financially to have one meeting, even if it goes a little bit longer than 2 meetings a month. And if we structured it correctly, we could have it so that planning happened prior to council, so that if there was things we needed to vote on, they were available. So I just wanted
The only
to,
caveat to that would be that we also, have the ability to have special meetings, which that's already kind of part of it.
we already
Also,
have that,
right, kind of already is part of it, but just,
yeah.
in that body.
So, yeah, I mean, of course, if there's something serious that needs to get taken care of, you call a special meeting. But, anyway, I would like to see that on a future agenda item. And then maybe not a request on an agenda item just yet, but something for people to start thinking about is also considering Zoom as an option for city council meetings as well. I know there was a time we did that, and I know there was a Zoom bomb one time, but based on the stuff I've seen at Cal Cities, there are lots of cities that do Zoom so that more constituents and citizens can participate in meetings. So I'm just throwing that one out there as kind of a flopper.
And I understand they've made some big improvements on the Zoom thing. As far as those issues.
I don't know, I just had a client that got bombed again today, but it's certainly something to look at. But I'm not taking that as necessarily future agenda program request right now, just something to throw out there. Yeah, under our policy for future agenda item requests, we do kind of want at least indication from 3 head nods that they'd be willing to consider it. So as it relates to Woody's request for the 1 meeting a month, I know what she said, I would say support from 3, okay.
Yeah, I've been a victim too many times from Zoom bombs when.
Yeah, we really can't get into a back and forth
Yeah,
discussion on that.
That's too bad.
Yeah, sorry, just because it's not on the agenda. And the reason why I want to make that clear is because the public would want to know if we're having that discussion, then they may show up to the meeting, right? So we want to make sure that
Yeah, thank you.
that we don't get discussed, then they can say, well, I knew you were gonna discuss it, I would have showed up, so
Apologies.
no problem. Don't apologize to me. Holger? Did you already give your future agenda?
I don't have more.
Okay.
Done? Yep.
Well, I have, one thing I did want, and I know we talked about this a couple months ago, but the top committee, we don't fill anymore, hasn't been filled in a long time. And I was reading up on that, and it doesn't necessarily have to be council members or even someone that lives, it could be business owners here in town. And I would like to see us reinstitute that top committee, just each year. That way, it's a way that people in the public, business owners, whoever, could be a part of things if they want. And maybe nothing will come to them, maybe they won't get a request, and we're gonna get a lot. But I would like to see us at least once a year appoint 5 people, and if something does come in, let it go to them first. And then if something's out of the parameter, they could come to us. I just think it's a way for more people to be involved. And I don't think it hurts anything to do that, so be on a volunteer basis, so. I would like to see us have a discussion on that, maybe put on the agenda to do that or something.
I never had nothing at the moment.
And then I have a question,
We need to make sure that there's at least 2 others that are supportive of having that discussion. 2, 1.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And then my other thing was just honestly a question of you, or city manager. We got a new number up here. I haven't seen anything posted. Maybe I'm just missing it. What are we doing to fill the planning commission spot now for a planning commissioner? Is that being flown? Or is Councilmember Flea not pick someone, or I never saw anything?
He's aware that he needs to select someone, and as soon as he gives us a name, we'll take care of it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you had to fly it, because I thought you had to fly it to the public or something in the past. I just hadn't saw it, so I didn't
He's
know.
got 30 days, right? Yeah.
And I've had a couple of questions from Margaret, she's answered me, and so I'm looking.
Okay, I'm just curious, cause I got to thinking, I was looking through the see stuff, I was like, and it dawned on me that I never saw that posted anymore, so I just didn't know. So that was my question. And for tonight, yeah, that'll do.
Okay. That's it. Right. So at this time, I will adjourn the meeting.